Honduras last year showed again. Democratically elected government of Zelaya was overthrown. Obama kept quiet about it. Hillary Clinton was quite noisy and she was quite for the coup because the Honduran government wanted to do some terrible things. It wanted to raise the minimum wage by 5 cents. God, we can't have that. That's what they wanted. They wanted more rights for people working in fields and in factories. Zelaya wasn't even originally part of the left group. He's a very rich landowner, but when he got into power, he actually had a look at things and said, we can make this a little bit fairer. That's all he did. And the coup came in the middle of the night, got him in his pajamas, and ousted him. Obama didn't really say anything. He didn't agree with it. Today, the United States is the only country that recognises the charade of a government that is in Honduras. Earlier this year, they had these elections, farce of elections. Nearly 70% of people didn't go to the ballot box, but you don't hear about that in our press. Completely delegitimised them. The leaders of Latin America just don't recognise them at all, but the United States says, look, we've had elections, it's all fair now. Like, you can have an election, you don't like them, you get rid of them, you have another election until you do like the person. That's not democracy, but that's what the US are transporting to Latin America today, and that's why we need to keep on fighting it. US and Colombia, very interesting. That's Alvaro Uribe, a criminal, and also the president of Colombia, responsible for the death of hundreds of trade unionists. And some of you know I spent 2006 working in Colombia with trade unionists there. And that's, you can see how happy Obama is with Uribe there. That's because Uribe's just agreed to have yet more military bases in Colombia. Now this is geopolitics talking here, and what they want are military bases in Colombia because they don't like what's happening in Venezuela, they don't like what's happening in Bolivia, they don't like what's happening in Ecuador, etc., and throughout the region. So they say that what they're fighting is narco-terrorists, but that's just another euphemism for fighting left-wing governments, and everybody's still waiting for the attack on Venezuela. Because all the lies keep coming out about Venezuelans helping the FARC, doing this, doing that. They're just looking for a pretext to attack Venezuela. And that's why we've got to be strong in our support for Venezuela. That's just me coming to an end. In actually Santiago de Cuba last year, 50 years of the revolution, and it's still going on. Haiti, the earthquake there this year, the first doctors there were from Cuba. The majority of educationalists in Haiti at the moment educating the people are from Cuba. These people get nothing for it. The Cuban government gives it as aid, as humanitarian aid. And that is what the Cuban Revolution is about. And that's why the Cuban Revolution is so important today. And 50 years on, it's still going strong. But because, as I've mentioned, there are all these attacks in Latin America today, there's also bases in Panama, US bases in Panama, Colombia. They're trying to get them into Chile now under the new Chilean government there. So I'll end by the words of Che Guevara because they're still very, very important. Hasta la victoria siempre. Ever onwards to victory, because the battle's not won and it's all still ahead of us. Thank you.